Life Signs. Written by Amateur Short Stories. Narrated by Letourneau. During the dead of night, my ship and its crew entered unknown space. There were several small planets, but there was only one we were interested in. Covered in lush forests, great oceans, and high mountains. To our eyes, it was the closest thing to Mother Earth we'd ever seen. Initial analysis of the planet didn't show any energy sources or signs of intelligent life. It was completely uninhabited. At least, that's what we thought. I wasn't sure what had happened exactly, but when I opened my eyes, it was hard to see anything. Nothing but darkness, with the little light we did have, which came from the flashing red alarms that went off. After the brief moment I took to catch my breath, I started to remember what had gone wrong. Right as we were to land, our ship's radar went into overdrive, picking up hundreds of life signs in the area. The engines of the Genesis would have fried anything beneath us, and further ignited the forests in our perimeter. Instead, we chose to cut the engines and go in for a controlled crash landing, hoping the impact would be less devastating. I got up from my chair and walked down the raised step toward the control systems. "Is everyone all right?" I asked while looking around at the half-dozen crew members. On my far right, Gerald got up from his chair and stretched his arm. "A little banged up, sir, but I'll manage," he responded. "Good. We need to get the power back on to see what's happening," I said. Gerald nodded and looked over to the sealed doors before turning to his side. "Anyone that can walk, come help me with these doors." One by one, the crew started to get out of their chairs, to head toward the doors. It wasn't until we heard the coughing against the far wall we realized something terrible had happened. Blood pooled on the floor where someone had been thrown from their chair during the landing. Through the darkness, the face I saw looking back at me made my heart skip a beat. Jane, my second in command, and the love of my life, set her eyes on me as I ran over. "I'm sure it looks worse than it is, Captain," she said. I placed my hands on her chest, around the pipe that protruded from the wall, to slow the bleeding. As I did that, Jane coughed up blood, which landed over my arms. I looked toward the other side of the room. "Get those doors open now!" I yelled. Gerald and the others that had stopped to see what happened immediately went back to opening the door. It would take time to get through, and after that, there would be several more before reaching the doctor's quarters. "Hold still, Jane. The doctor will be here shortly. You'll be fine," I said. She tried to laugh a little, but struggled to keep the blood from exiting her mouth. "I'm not a fool. I know I won't last that long. I'm already cold and faint," she said. Her eyes started to close, and I wrapped my other hand around the back of her neck and pulled my head in closer. "I love you. Please don't leave me," I whispered. I could feel the tear going down my face as I watched one forming in the center of her eyes. She raised her hand, placing it on the side of my face. No words left her mouth as her eyes closed moments later. She went quiet as the heart in her chest stopped beating, and her hand slid down my face, landing at her side. I didn't know what to do. The pain in my heart was unbearable. Through my fingers, long blonde strands of hair were brushed off to the side as half of me just disappeared. For a long while, I sat in the darkness until the lights started to turn back on. Genesis's power was restored, followed by the control systems on the bridge. With nothing left, I watched as the screens showed one of the life signs that was detected right before everything happened. Whatever or whoever was out there wasn't coming in. Although the energy readings throughout the ship skyrocketed, an enormous power source moved freely through the Genesis, from the airlock all the way toward the bridge. An unusual light radiated through the door before a small orb floated into view. It was wavy, like an orb of water. Jolts of electricity ran through it. At its core was a metallic-looking ball. The strange object moved toward this side of the room and zapped me as it got close, forcing me to back up a little. It stopped moving when it was above the pipe in Jane's chest. I gripped her hand as the object pushed a current of electricity through the pipe, using it as a pylon. Almost immediately, her body jolted, and right as I felt my hand being squeezed, the object disappeared, right through the walls of the ship. Jane's eyes closed. It hurts. I'm going to die from the pain if the doctor doesn't hurry up. The corner of my lip raised. Don't worry. You're not dying today. Not only was the life sign outside gone, but whatever technology that orb held, with that enormous amount of energy, was also gone. I looked at the wall where it disappeared, and then I turned back to Jane and smiled again, right as the doctor found his way onto the bridge, followed by Gerald. She squirmed a little as the doctor worked with the wound, and she even let out a squeal when the doctor said it was all right to remove the pipe. The hole in her chest was instantly filled with medical-grade healing foam, so she wouldn't bleed out. The old doctor looked at me. She'll be bedridden while we prepare for surgery, but I'm confident she will make a full recovery. He turned to Jane. You're lucky. The cybernetic enhancements around your heart saved you. Jane looked right towards me, and I knew we were thinking the same thing. Before we crashed, there was no cybernetics anywhere near her heart. It was pure magic. The inhabitants of this beautiful planet were far beyond our technological knowledge. Jane didn't mention to the doctor what we both knew. Instead, she smiled right back at me. Did she see it before it disappeared? Before the doctor and Gerald put her on the stretcher, she pulled me in and kissed me. I love you more, she whispered.